Hey everybody, I'm Steph.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Senor Azul, a fist bump.
Senor Azul making an appearance. Hey, guess what?
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 We played games in 2022.
A few.
Just a few. I learned 570 games in 2022.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. So
I didn't even look at mine. I probably should have done that.
it's a lot.
It's about the same number though.
No, it's not. I learned a lot.
It is.
At least 100 more than
Well, let's find that out because I mean this is important.
you. Oh my goodness.
I learned 615.
No.
No, 564 new to me. You had 6 more.
No, but that counts games that you've only played for the first time in
There's
the app.
not been that many.
Well, there's
Okay, maybe like Yahtzee.
20%.
No, not 20%.
Anyway, I wanted to share that I have a 2023 gaming calendar available.
Yes.
So if you need a gaming calendar, please check it out.
At Steph's Awesome Gaming Calendar 2023. Steph is putting the link
Yes.
up there.
And hopefully everybody wants a cool calendar for the wall.
At stephshop.equid, ecwid.com.
Yay!
Who's blocking me?
Today, Michael and I have prepared our top 10 plus 12 games that we learned.
Now with 120% more top games.
That's right. Well, we took a poll and people wanted to know our top 22 games of 2022.
They didn't want a top 10. They wanted
the top
22.
So here we are. And we have quite a list for everybody.
I'm a top game.
Yeah? What's your top game?
I was when I beat you at Pylos.
He played and learned one game this year.
That's it.
And that was his favorite. So, I mean,
he might have had other games. I didn't look to see. I didn't look to see his other games.
But that was the one, basically.
Players. Search Senor Azul. SEN.
Would he be
There
in
we
your
go.
list, though?
Oh, he played. Was it only this year? He's played Hamsters versus Hippos, Valley of the Vikings, Pylos, and Mysterious Ladder.
Wow.
And he did not win Hamsters versus Hippos.
No, I did not.
That's for my perfect record.
Oh my goodness. Oh, he's still bitter about that.
Yes, he is. However, he has a rather fantastic 75% win percentage.
Yep.
I'm doing a good show.
Yeah. What?
I'm gonna go win percentage.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Mom says, hi, Blue Puppet.
Your
Oh,
mom fist bump.
it's Senor Azul.
Yeah. So, it's time to get on with our top 22, right?
I
So,
think we should do it.
yeah. All right. Say bye, Senor Azul.
Hey, bye everybody. Fist bump.
Azul.
Whoa.
Okay.
So, my top number 22. Actually, you always do a top 25 on your
I do.
top.
I do.
And you do have 3 that did not make this top 22 list that you do have
Okay.
on your top 25. You don't have to do it.
Okay.
But
Fine.
you do.
We'll just do.
If you are interested in numbers 23 through 25 for Steph, you do have them on your blog, which is going to go public.
I'm actually making a geek
tomorrow.
list, but I might put it into a blog anyway too. But
Yes.
so I'll have a geek list hopefully tomorrow.
Excellent. So
Excellent.
you're going to get your spoilers right now.
Right now.
My number 22 is my number 2 game of July. It's Pandemic Fall of Rome from Z-Man Games.
Yes.
And published in 2018. Now, for those of you who don't know how we do our top games of 2022, they're not games that are published in 2022, though. This game is chock full of those simply because we review those games that come in and they were published in 2022 by and large. But we did we did not get a review copy of this. I don't think, did we? This was not a review copy. This was a purchased copy.
This was purchased.
And hey, that's why it's from 2018. In Pandemic Fall of Rome, it basically follows the whole pandemic sort of formula, except in this case, the virus are soldiers that are rushing towards Rome in order to take it over, and you are trying to work together with your fellow players to try to push back the borders of all of the invaders running towards Rome to take it over. And I think that it really works super well. It did not make your list this year.
No.
But yeah, this was the very edge of the list. I think, but before the stream, Steph and I and everyone else in the Twitch audience, we were talking about what happens when you've got these games that are like so close to one another, especially when you get further and further down a best of list. You start getting these games where A is better than B and B is better than C, but C is better than A if I'm going to be comparing them next to each other. And so you sort of get this fuzziness sort of near the end of a best list.
For me, it's I like playing all the different pandemics, but I don't think this was my best favorite of the pandemics. So for me, it didn't really stand out amongst the other pandemics.
I did like the different mechanics. Hey, DC Bueller rating with a party of 21.
Welcome in, Raiders.
We are doing our top 22 games from games that we learned in 2022. And hey, you have arrived at a rather fantastic time because this is my number 22 game.
It is
Pandemic Fall of Rome. And hey, if I'm putting my month that I ranked it on there just in case you want more detailed information about the game that we played, or you might even find it by searching on your YouTube channel for our detailed playthroughs.
Yep.
And Rules Teach.
Yeah, all of I don't think we actually played that one on stream.
That one we have not played. It's still on the couch to play.
But it's funny because Captain Raver said still unplayed on my shelf. So maybe this will give you the oomph to go and play it because it is super cool.
Yep. And we will play it on stream at some point. It's just, man, we got a lot of games to stream.
Says me and Jakku both agree that it's a good choice for number 22.
That's right.
Awesome. My number 22 is, whoops, what did I do?
I don't know. What did you do? Hey, that's my number 21 game.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. You don't have to put it on my side.
I'm going to have to.
What?
It's your number. It's a
is
crossover.
It is a crossover. We don't have many of these, let me tell you. And this was your 22, my 21 from Flat Out Games.
I know. It's
not
super fun.
Not published. It will be published in 2023.
Yes.
Or if it's published, it is just recent. I don't think it is yet.
This one was totally a surprise to me. It's very different from the other Flat Out games. But it's a real-time puzzly kind of game where you're drafting tiles and placing them into your layout. It's like a real-time layout, like newspaper. It's very thematic and it has like cute little critters. I super love it. I think it's so much fun.
It has very much real-time aspects like Galaxy Trucker, where you are taking the newspaper headlines. Here's the thing: unlike Galaxy Trucker, where you put it in your ship, you're not putting things in your paper yet. You're putting them on a table, and then when you say you're done, you then put all those articles into the paper. You might be short. It might be over. Neither one is good. Hey, Black Sheep.
Yeah, so this was a super solid choice, and it came in like. When did we play that?
That was my number 2 game of October.
Okay, my number 1 game of October. Mm-hmm. So
there you go.
There you go. Super fun. I really enjoyed that one.
Fit to print.
Fit to print. So that was your number 21.
That was my number 21.
That was my number 22.
Now you're number 21.
Oh my goodness. Can't keep up.
Can't keep up. Because you're having to get these covers on the fly.
I know.
And so we are jamming through these. So.
Yes. Okay, so my number 21, that is not correct.
From Gigameek.
I picked the wrong thing.
I can say Gigameek without giving away, because we played a lot of Gigameek titles, and this one did not make my list. But it's super fun.
Yeah, Akropolis. I learned this back in April at the gathering and loved it. It was my number 6 in April though, so
there are a lot of good ones. That just because it's number 6 doesn't mean it's bad, because I actually considered my numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6 for April. When in other months, I'm like
know.
just the top 2 or 3 um, were in the hunt to make the list. April
Right.
was a deep list. We went to number 15 that month.
No, for sure. I think because it's gotten repeated plays, I've grown to love it even more. I loved it on first play, but I wasn't sure like, how much it would stand with more further plays, but it really has held up, and it's just such a quick little fun puzzle. Your city building with drafting tiles, both things which I really enjoy. So, I was super excited to, play that more as soon as that was released, and it's held strong, and I really enjoy it.
Yep,
So,
super fun.
Acropolis.
If you like tile placement and drafting, and it's not really set collection, but it sort of is. If you're trying to place residences, you want to put residences in a certain area, and you
Mhm.
want little plazas that key off of residences.
Yeah.
If you're wanting temples, you want the plazas that key off of temples, and then the temples placed in the right spots. So it is sort of set collection.
Right.
But it's also a little bit of tile placement. So if you like those elements, you will be sure to like Acropolis from Gigameek 2022.
Stray says Acropolis is neat. It's exactly the right length.
I agree 100%.
I also
Um,
agree.
uh, I'm I'm a I'm slightly disturbed with the cult of the short attention span, where all games have to be somewhere between 15 and 45 minutes to get noticed, when there are really some really strong 2 or 3 hour games as well. That being said, you have to have those 2 and 3 hours to be able to fit those games in. So, Acropolis, I think, is the perfect length right where it is. There are some games that things are done before the engine gets spun up, or things overstay their welcome, and you don't want them to go on for as long as they do. No, Acropolis is a perfect length.
I agree. It works really well.
Yeah.
That was my number 21.
You can see it right.
I need to put it over here because I can't remember.
You need to have it on both sides. Is what you
No.
need. So my number 20 is a game from Board and Dice
Yep.
called Terracotta Army. It was my number 1 game in August, and it was published in 2022. In Terracotta Army, you are basically taking actions around this there are 2 different discs that will be spinning in opposite directions. You are going to claim the actions on one of the wedges of this disc, and when that action is taken, it's largely shut out for most everybody else, unless you've got a big meeple to take the action on that space, and then you're going to use those actions to get masters or to place statues in the Terracotta Army. I guess the museum, the display
museum, yeah, the
grounds,
grid.
and into the grid. And then you'll have the inspectors that are going to be walking the outside of the grid, looking down the rows and columns, and you're going to score based on those things. And so there is a little bit of nastiness if you enjoy that sort of thing in games, where if I'm trying to score for this row and or this column, and you push that inspector along just a little bit, all of your points might never happen.
Right.
So there can be a little bit of cutthroat gameplay in there, but it is a super solid T title from the
Yeah.
team at Board and Dice.
Yes.
Always love seeing their T games. And spoiler alert, this is not the best T game of this year.
I know they actually had a super strong year, in my opinion.
I agree.
I almost expected to see Foundations on your list. So
Yep,
that
Foundations.
was probably a spoiler. It's not on the list, but
Foundations of Teo is
he's
not on
really
the list,
enjoyed
but I did enjoy demoing that at Gen Con.
yeah.
Matter of fact, someone remembered me. She messaged me and said, "Are you the same guy that sold me on Founders of Teo?" I'm like, "Yep, that's me." So,
So you're that guy now.
this is that guy. So, Definitely check out Terracotta Army from Board and Dice.
Yes. My number 20 is actually a bit of a surprise for me as well. It
Because
is,
of repeated playthroughs.
yeah,
Yeah.
Guild of Merchant Explorers. It was number 10 on my list in May.
And went right up the chart.
Went up the chart, yeah. It's from this year, 2022. And
From AEG.
yeah. And so it's almost like a flip and write. You flip a card, everybody will do something on their board. You're not actually writing anything, but you flip and do. So
Flip and do.
flip and do. It's a game where you're trying to optimize your player board, and you have multiple rounds to do that. But every round, your board's basically going to clear off, and you reset for the round. So you're trying to get to locations to set yourself up for the next round, but you're also upgrading your abilities each round as well. So, and you're flipping these cards, going through the deck. It's fairly simple, and I've taught the game a bunch, and I'm always playing the basic board because I'm teaching. I just play the base board, but there are other boards in the game too. So I'm very excited to try the harder boards with like totally blocked off areas and volcanoes and who knows what else.
Well, it's really difficult to get to other areas because you have to collect like a group of the same sort of tile to make a village on that tile. And then the next day you can start off from that village and go further out.
Exactly.
So if you want to establish a base on another island, the water card, the boat card has to come up at the right time.
Yeah.
And you have to get out to a forest or a desert. And then you got to be able to place enough little tokens out in that area to have that village established. So, hey, next, and things might not come up in the right order. I think one of the reasons why this went up so high on your list is because it's so similar to other flip and write, flip and do sort of games like Next Station London, where things have to come out of this certain order.
And you do it.
And you do it. And if they don't, well, disaster can happen.
Or Scrabia, I'm looking at.
Scrabia.
You know, number 9, or any of the games with like multiplayer solitaire where you're doing something, everybody else is doing something, and you have the same information. This one's a little different because you don't all have identical information because you have that one card that is just for you. Yes. So I think that also helps it stand out a little bit. But I really like this game. Legend says I need to play this game, and I agree. Go play it.
Hello, Bree.
Hello, Bree.
So,
all right,
Bree, you have not missed any of the Lucky Duck games yet. So,
all right, that was my number 20, Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Moving on to my number 19. It's Imperium Classics from Osprey Games. This was my number 3 game in January.
Oh, yeah.
Published in 2021. The reason you will not find Imperial Legends on my list is because that was on last year's list. And we did not have a top 21 of 2021 last year.
Right.
But we did have, we did rank our top 10, and then we had 11 through 20 in no particular order. Imperium Legends did end up in that next batch of 10. And Imperium Classics is quite similar. It is an identical game, in my opinion, to Imperium Legends. You can mix and match them 100%. But Imperium Classics tends to have lower difficulty, lower complexity civilizations than Imperium Legends.
It doesn't make it any worse.
No, it doesn't make it worse.
It's a great game.
It is a great game on its own. And I would, in fact, I would recommend Classics over Legends to start with. And if you like Classics, by all means, go for Legends. So you're gonna have control of a civilization, and maybe your civilization likes military, or maybe your civilization tends to go really hard towards a certain area. But hey, maybe you have a lot of unrest, or maybe you deal with unrest a lot easier than other civilizations, or maybe you pass that unrest on to other players. Maybe one does well in the city, or maybe another one does better if they stay in the barbarian stage for longer. And I think that all of those differences in the civilizations make this game really shine. It's almost entirely card-based, and those card interactions are really what makes this game shine. So if you enjoy that sort of thing where you're having civilization building and civ upgrades and deck building aspects, then you're going to love Imperium Classics and Imperium Legends by Osprey Games.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Should revisit that one. It's been a minute.
Yep. Bree says best possible spoiler. Shanna says, it's good by how beige it is. That's Guild of Merchant Explorers.
A ton of other games on my list. No,
Legends.
not gonna lie.
Yep. Legends says I bought Imperium Legends only, but maybe it was because of my Twitch name. Well, yeah, Legends. So.
This is true.
Yeah.
Okay, my number
19
is Set a Watch Swords of the Coin.
See what I'm doing? I'm putting the little pencil pointing right towards that line.
Great.
You don't have to worry about it. Look, you did it.
It was my number 6 game in May from 2021.
It's gone up quite a bit.
It's gone up quite a bit. Now, I wish I had been playing it more because then I would know for sure. But it's an exciting game. I really like the Set a Watch series. And what?
I got this because you made me Board Gamer Steph. My arm's still sore. I like it.
Oh, good. Don't want to twist your arm too much. But the Swords of the Coin, they add in a new merchant mechanic where you can buy like gear and stuff to upgrade your characters a little bit, have like one-time abilities, etc. I just like the challenge of trying to work your teams together to go out and fight the monsters. You don't know what's going to come out, but you have to plan for it. And with this expansion, you get a whole bunch more characters, and you get new dice, like D4s, which is like, that sounds terrible, but
But those special abilities really
the special abilities really make up for the D4s. So I like the balancing that they did with this. So I think it's just really well done. And if you like cooperative adventure type games, then
if you like dungeon crawls, Set a Watch both the base game, which I can't remember what.
Just Set a Watch.
Just Set a Watch.
Yeah.
And Set a Watch Swords of the Coin expansion. Then those are right up your alley if you like dungeon crawls.
It's super
definitely fun. Yeah, for sure. Legend says if I keep watching this, my arm's gonna be sore also.
You should just keep watching.
Just keep watching. Because we are only to number 18.
I know, right?
And we've already hit one of my number ones for a month. So
there we go.
I mean, it can only get better, right?
Right.
So number 18 on my list is my number 2 game in January. It's Corrosion from Deep Print and Capstone Games. Corrosion has a really interesting mechanic where things that you produce are going to pop in on the furthest gear position, and they are eventually going to come around until you can and you will be able to spin things off. But if you don't spin them before the gear makes a full rotation, then those gears will rust away, and you don't want this to happen. You've got small gears, large gears, and then the chrome gears. Ooh, the chrome gears never rust.
So good.
So, and then you will use all of those gears to make things, but every time that you spend one of your cards, it's going to go into that gear rotation, and it's not going to come back until the gear has rotated around. And I love how that interaction is between putting those cards to your gear and then getting them back. Now, you can rush getting those back, but it's going to cost you in order to do so. The other cool thing about this game, if you like games where if somebody does something and then somebody else can follow that action, then you're probably going to enjoy this as well. Because if I spend a 2 of this sort of action, if you've got a 3 or a 4, you could follow that action along. You will follow exactly what my action says and not what your card's action says. But if it's something that you really want to get hold of, then you will want to just follow along on that action. So I really like how those sort of interactions go. And this is another one of those games that I had to go back to January. It's been a year since I played this. I really need to take a look at what really drew me to this game. And it's that elegance of how do those gears go through and those gears rusting away and all of the different upgrades you can do for your little gear machine that you've got going on. So
I've played this a few times this year. I actually played it last week, so I'm pretty fresh on it.
You are super fresh on it because that's the thing. You sent me a picture of your game night. So she has game night when I have Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And so she sent me a picture of Corrosion. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a
It
good one.
is good, and so I taught a few new people, and they both loved it as well. So it's definitely gotten some good feedback. It's a slow turn though, so it's like
It's slow turn,
build.
slow burn,
Yeah, so
slow build. Yes,
it's a cool engine building game though. I quite enjoy it. So
literally,
glad it made your list.
literally engine building.
For real though.
So let's see. Time Roller can't look away. Everyone's going to ooh Chrome gears, like Chrome extensions, but better.
They were an
It's a
an
technical.
add-on. So if you get the game, make sure to get the add-on.
Oh yeah, because otherwise you'll get these little cardboard Chrome
Which
gears.
are still cool, but they're not
It's-
as cool.
They're not as cool. So, um, whoa,
Whoa!
hey,
Another
Panic,
Panic!
raiding with a party of 5. How you doing, Panic?
Welcome,
You have
Raiders!
encountered us in the middle of our top 22 games of 2022. We are currently on Steph's number 18 game,
My number 18,
which I have not played yet, so I have no comment.
is Revive from Aporta Games.
Whoa.
It was my number 3 in November, and the game is from 2022. This is a brand new Aporta game. I've always enjoyed the Aporta's titles in general, so I definitely had to make sure I played this at BGG and I knew I was gonna like it because I had so much positive feedback going around the con anyway. But it's like an engine building, a deck building. There's tracks, there's board exploration. There's a lot going on. It takes a play to get into it just because there's so many interlocking mechanics, but it's super cool to see how it all plays out. And it's one that I will add to the collection hopefully in the near future.
I hope so as well, because I have not played it.
I know, I think it's one that you will really enjoy when you do
bet.
play it.
Hey, that might be a spoiler for the top games of
Next year.
2023. We've done this. Like
Yes.
there are several games on this
Yes.
list that you played last year that are on this list for 2022 that you played for 2021. So yeah, for sure.
Yep, sure. He's like, haven't tried Revive. It looks very busy. It's pretty busy. There's multi-use cards and stuff, so you have to decide how you want to use your cards and how you want to do the actions. And but there's a lot of really neat things going on, so it's worth trying for sure.
So my number 17 game, I played back in April, is my number 2 game back in April.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, published by Game Brewer in 2021. It is Stroganov. So this surprised you because you didn't think that I liked this game that much.
I knew that you had liked it. I just didn't know it would like make your top.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of goodness going on here. I've only had the one play because we did not get it as a review copy. However, I did enjoy our one play of it. And in Stroganoff, you are going out and going eastward in order to go through different lands. And when you reach a certain land, you are going to hunt whatever critters are there, and you're
You're going to befriend the critters.
And by befriend, I mean hunt. Trick them until you can permanently make them your friends. And you are trying to get set collections of them in order to create the exact critters that you need. I believe that if I remember correctly, there's ways that you can. If I remember correctly, where you can downgrade your critters in order to get something with them. Like
yeah, there's ways to manipulate to get other things going.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of comboing and a lot of like free actions that you do and so you can like increase your value of your action if you do something specific. I forget it specifically. It's been since
It's
April.
been a while, yeah.
I played it twice at the gathering and I really liked it, but it's one that I do want to play again to see my full thoughts, but I really did like it.
And the further out you travel, the easier it's going to be for you to travel eastward in the future. You can build stay in a yurt, which is a little tent, or you can make an agreement with a little village. And so it makes it easier for you to travel eastward each year, each successive year. Things will be easier for you to get to, and you'll get certain bonuses if you do like. Um, it's you're not really building up a civilization like you do in Imperial Classics, but you're still sort of building up your own little civilization, so to speak. So if you enjoy those sort of games, you'll definitely enjoy Stroganov.
Yeah, it's cool. I definitely want to revisit that one.
Yep, I do as well.
My number 17 is Terracotta Army from Board and Dice.
Jelfie remembers that from the beef Stroganoff jokes.
Terracotta Army was my number 2 in February, and it's from 2022. We kind of talked about this briefly with Michael, but I really enjoy the worker placement mechanic and the wheel, how you can turn the wheel, kind of customizing your action if you need to. Money is super tight though, so you don't always want to do that, but it gives you that little extra option, which is really interesting and nice. And it's actually,
And it changes the wheel for everyone, which makes it so it's
this
my
is true.
goodness.
Why did you do
Why
that?
did you do that?
But there's a lot of like interesting choices, and it's fairly easy to learn. The hard part is figuring out the end game scoring for all of those statues at the end. And so, that's probably one thing I would change a little bit if I could go in and like change a little bit about the game. That would be the end game scoring for that museum. Maybe streamline it a little bit, or give hidden goals to give things to work towards during the game. But the whole gameplay is fairly simple, and you can understand it, and I like all the choices in the game. So yeah, it's definitely one of the more solid T games that I've played in recent years. It's definitely one of my favorites, and they had a really strong year. That's all I have to say.
Board and Dice did have a strong year, and this is not your favorite T game.
Nope. There's another one.
There is another.
Okay, so your number.
My number 16 game is my number 2 game from June, published in 2021 from Indie Boards and Cards, Aeon's End Legacy of Gravehold. So,
looks like
you're still looking
it
for
looks
the
like
picture.
we got raided.
Whoa.
Hello, Raiders.
Hello, little Liz, raiding with a party of 8. How you doing? We are in the middle of our top 22 games learned in 2022.
Yes.
And I'm currently on my number 16, Aeon's End Legacy of Gravehold. Now, this is another Legacy installment from the Aeon's End collection.
That's right.
Now, despite it being a standalone game, I would not recommend starting your Aeon's End journey with Legacy of Gravehold. I would either recommend starting with one of the normal, the based game of Aeon's End.
Yep.
Or starting out as Steph and I did with Aeon's End Legacy.
Yep.
Not Legacy of Gravehold.
Yep.
The first adventure in Legacy of Gravehold that is supposed to sort of kind of slow walk you through it is, I can imagine, could be somewhat brutal for newbies. So
yes.
I don't recommend starting with it. However, for those who are very familiar with the Aeon's End universe, I wholeheartedly recommend jumping right into this. Now, we have not finished Legacy of Gravehold, and there is already an expansion pack.
Yeah, something. This. So I'm curious
I
about
looked at that online. When I was coming up with this list, I'm like, wait a second, do we even have this? And so there is another expansion for this called The Ruins. So I am looking forward to finishing the campaign and adding that right on. We do have several unplayed Aeon's End expansions, and I'm going to be honest. The reason we have not done it is not because we don't enjoy Aeon's End, because we totally do.
Oh yeah, totally.
One of our favorite games. It's because we do not have a storage solution to house all of our Aeon's End stuff. So, Indie Board and Cards.
Oh my God.
Create the Aeon's End big box. Please do this. So, because we don't have a place to house all of this stuff.
Yep, we want it. But we love Aeon's End, and it's a worthy contender for top of the year.
Absolutely.
My number 16.
Free.
is for Bree.
Bree.
It is the Terracotta from Van Ryder Games and Lucky Duck Games. It was my number one in May. This game is for 2023, actually. So we got, I guess, not necessarily a sneak peek, but a sneak peek.
Totally.
We had such an amazing experience because we had Evan here and we played through like the first chapter.
I think Senor Azul was even part of that.
He was. And it was so cool to have Evan here. And basically, he gets so into it with his like voices and characters and his reading. And you get so immersed in the story. And I'm not usually a story person, right? So, but the story is really rich here. And the best game I could think of that it would compare to would be Mansions of Madness, except this is a lot more streamlined. There's like no movement rules or anything. You just kind of go where you want to go, and then you have the encounters that you have. And so you're working through. It's app driven, so you need to have the app, and it actually remembers you. So like if you make a decision in chapter 1, it's going to remember that decision throughout the game, and the story will progress based on the choices that you make. So I think that's like super
your
cool.
characters progress when you level up your characters.
Yeah.
You are improving your die roll stats, so that you don't need to roll as good of a number in order to have a success happen. I love those sorts of things.
Yeah, so I think it's presented really well here. And I think, the team between Van Ryder and Lucky Duck is like a great combination. So it really makes the game stand out. And so I'm very excited to progress and play this through whenever it is available for us to play.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely looking forward to the whole
Oh yeah.
the whole thing
for
now.
sure.
We do have a rules teach and playthrough of this. It got split into 2 parts.
It did.
So there is a part 1 and part 2 to this. So make sure to take a look at that either on BGG or on your YouTube channel.
Yep.
And you will find that entire playthrough with Evan and all of his fantastic voices there. Keep in mind,
we had such a fun time.
Yes, keep in mind this is for mature audiences.
Definitely for mature audiences.
There might be a darn or a hell or maybe
don't worry about it. But just know that.
Yeah, some words.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe a little stronger than that.
Yes. But
anyway,
we're checking out.
Yeah, Bree says she's so excited for the Dark Quarter.
Yeah, I bet.
He says, was this the one set in New Orleans? Yes. And Evan actually did some research by traveling to New Orleans to research all of these locations as they were creating it. So it is super, super thematic.
Yes.
Bree says a little stronger words, maybe.
Definitely. So keep that in mind.
Yes.
All right.
So yeah, for sure. That was your number 16. So my number 15 is this was on everyone's Instagram and Facebook for a while when it was coming in. Foundations of Rome.
This nearly missed my list.
From Arcane Wonders. It was my number 2 of May. Published in 2022. Everyone was doing their unboxing videos of how huge their box is. With all of the miniatures and everything. And we finally did get a chance to play this. We did not get a review copy of it. However, here it is sitting at my number 15.
It's a nice game.
So you are putting, you are basically getting the rights to build on this grid of, this grid area. Much in a way similar to a choir. How you've got the A1 through J10 or larger sort of grid depending on player count. And whenever you have an area of the appropriate size, you can build one of your buildings there. And if you can get certain buildings next to other buildings, you're going to score lots of points. And one of the main complaints is, why can't they make a non-deluxe copy that just has tiles? And I think it would take away from a lot of either what the building is or who owns the building if you don't have the actual minis on the board with those player colors sprinkled throughout. You don't get to see the interactions between, oh, green has a really strong presence over here. I might want to try to avoid that or put something here to block, etc. And I think the minis do a really good job of that. Unfortunately, that means everybody has their own tray of minis, and that makes for a huge box and for a larger price tag. However, I gotta say, I I I think it's probably worth the investment, in my opinion. So, especially since it's my number 15 game of the year.
I mean, it's a nice game.
Wish we had gotten a review copy of it.
I'm not sure many
However,
people did because it is large and in
it
charge.
is super large and
We
fantastic.
both really enjoy it, so we'll be on the lookout.
Absolutely. So yeah, if we can find this on a used game sale, which is where we pick up a lot of our games, we will definitely be adding this to the collection. At least if I have anything to say about it.
Yep. My number 15 is Tidal Blades 2 Rise of the Unfolders from Druid City Games. It was my number 2 in January and is scheduled to be released this year, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to play the prototype and we played it on stream and we played scenarios 2 and 3 on stream and just had a blast. Like we had played the first scenario and it was good, and then we played 2 and 3 and it really starts to pick up even that fast into the campaign. So it's super cool. It reminds me kind of Jaws of the Lion.
Jaws of the Lion, where you have
Gloomhaven.
everything on the book.
Yeah, and it's a book. The map flips, and you'll have different encounters,
You
different
can add on
things
pieces
to
to
do.
it. Yeah.
But what differs is that you have this board that you're managing, and you're placing these cards and taking actions depending on the rows and columns that you're choosing to activate. And so you're trying to manage this board to get the actions you want. But the game is beautiful. The gameplay is super fun. You're moving around, fighting the bad guys. You're rolling lots of dice and collecting resources and all that jazz. And it's super fun. And yeah, I'm very excited to see and play the rest of that character.
Brings major Gloomhaven vibes.
Yes, major Gloomhaven vibes.
It's not any slight at all to be compared favorably to Gloomhaven.
No, I
so.
mean, we both really enjoy Gloomhaven, so that is a good thing.
That is absolutely a good thing.
So I really like that.
Yeah, just missed my list.
Yep.
So yep. So my number 14 games is super fresh on my mind because it was my number 3 game in December from 2022 Czech Games Edition Starship Captains.
Yeah.
So in Starship Captains, I mean, the theme really does it for me because I love sci-fi games and I grew up loving Star Trek, and when Star Trek Next Generation came on, I was there. Got me a uniform, as you can see from our video, our playthrough of Starship Captains.
Definitely.
And so you're going out and you are finishing missions, and you're doing this all with the help of your crew. Your red ensigns can help you fly the ship. Your yellow ensigns can help you to shoot the pirates that are running around out there. Your blue ones can help you to get new tech cards, and then you can promote cadets to ensigns, and then ensigns to commanders, and commanders can help bring more and more of your crew out every day, every turn. You can get more of your people into your ready room, so you can assign them to actions, so that you can do more things, so you can get more things, and your engine will build that way. So it does a really good job with action selection, with resource management. It's not as much worker placement, but you are using those workers in order to take advantage of the actions that are available. So if sci-fi is your jam, you definitely want to take a look at Starship Captains from Czech Games.
Shanna says, I love this game.
Oh my goodness, it's so good.
And we know Soften Your Razor also loves this game, even though she's not here.
To be honest, I am surprised it dropped to number 14 on my list. I thought it was going to be higher, but man, there's a lot of strong games.
We have a lot of great games.
There's a lot of good games.
Even some that we thought might be there have gone down a little bit.
Absolutely.
But even still, 14 is solid.
14 is super solid. Your number 14 game?
is
Published in 2022
Marvel Remix.
from WizKids.
Yes, it was my number 2 in April, and I have played it 16 times. It was one of my most played games of last year.
Speaking of which, I am creating the community 100 by 100 spreadsheet.
Yes.
I have not finished it up yet, but I've got the basic layout. But I want it to keep track of everything where you can put your little initials on the spreadsheet or your name or whatever that says that you have played it on each of the 100 plays. And so that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, so Marvel Remix is the new take on the Fantasy Realms game. So if you are into Fantasy Realms and you like Marvel, well, this is the perfect combination. And this game is great because it adds the tag system, so you can just look at the cards on this. You can see exactly basically what you're looking for. Yeah, there's still text and how to get bonuses and stuff, but you have all the tags there, and I'm gonna score for the running tag or the flying tag and things like this. So you're trying to collect those different things. So they definitely streamlined it. I'm not saying it's better than Fantasy Realms, but I'm also not saying it's worse than Fantasy Realms. I like them equally, and I'm happy to play either of them equally.
I think Marvel, to me, the iconography is much.
It's good. It's really good.
It's so easy to connect up the things that you need to connect up.
There's something fun about Fantasy Realms with the crazy, I'm going to score 300 points if I do it right. So I like the kind of chaotic nature of Fantasy Realms a little bit more, but I like the way that Marvel Remix is all laid out a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's I like both of them a lot. And this one, I played it so much, and I'm willing to play it all the time. It works really well.
I like the fact you have to have a hero, at least one hero, and at least one villain, or one hero or ally. One good guy, one bad guy, basically.
Yeah, no, everything about it is just really nice, and I'm happy that they have decided to continue making these types of games because I will play them, and I'm happy.
And you're happy.
So that was my number 14.
So this one is not on Steph's list because you had played this long before I had played it.
Right,
I do believe.
Yeah.
Because this was a 2021 release.
That's
my number one game of July was Seven Wonders Architects.
Yes.
From Repos.
Yeah.
So this is not a dumbed down version of Seven Wonders, but it is simplified somewhat.
Yeah.
It does change the rules around a little bit where you can either, correct me if I'm wrong, where you can take the middle card or you can take the left or right cards that are between you and your neighbor, right? And so if you take something, an action away your neighbor had wanted, then you might really throw a wrench into their plans. And so, and you are trying to do some of the same things that you're trying to do in Seven Wonders. You're trying to build up your wonder. Each player is a civilization that has their own wonder that they are trying to build up from the bottom up. And as they build, they're going to get certain advantages, and it's different for every single civilization. So
you were spoiled because we got to play with the Foobs at Dice Tower, and it was such a fun game.
It was so great.
Random people come join us, and they were holding the games. I needed it to play the game.
Yeah.
So we invited them to play with us.
Brought in a bunch of people to play Seven Wonders Architects, and it was a blast.
It's fun, and it's a light game, but you still have the choices, and it's fun.
If I'm not mistaken, if I remember the story correctly, this game was designed as a way so that the designer could play it with his kids.
Think so.
I believe that's something with that, or
I know that they were designing it so that it would be more accessible to kids and families,
or at least younger gamers.
Yeah.
Not just to kids, but to younger gamers and to families, to make it much more accessible than maybe a more in-depth Seven Wonders. But I really enjoyed Seven Wonders Architects.
Yeah, that's good.
That is my number 13 game.
Whoa. So my number 13 is actually the same as your number 12.
What?
So we're going to go ahead and talk about it together. So,
and this was anytime that these one-offs or simultaneous rankings, anytime that they happen, they're entirely coincidental.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I was listening to them all. I was like, what? So close.
Here we go. My number 13, your number 12 is Space Station Phoenix. I actually learned this in April. It was my number 3 in April.
And it was my number 1 game in June because I played it 2 months later.
Yep.
When we got a review copy of it.
Yeah, because it was just coming out. Like,
Yes.
I actually had played the prototype, I think. Like, it was, like, just getting, like, to production.
Say, it's from?
Oh, yeah, it's from Rio Grande Games. And it was this year's 2022 date. But it's such a great game. I've played it 9 times, which is
Holy moly.
pretty considerable.
That's good.
No,
That's
it
good
is
for
good.
you, yeah.
I mean, it also helps that it is on Board Game Arena, so I played it and taught some people on there. But it's such a great game because it moves quickly and you are like choosing an action, taking that action. People might get bonuses for the action you select, so you have to kind of pay attention to what people are doing. So you're always invested in what's happening in the game. But it's kind of like a deconstruction kind of game because you have ships that you can use your actions for, but you can also kill your ships to get metal, scrap metal to build up your space station because you're going to ultimately want to build up your space station. That allows you to customize the actions and your engine and how you're going, your strategies for the game is what you build.
Yeah, it's weird that it's not a ship building, it's a space station building, but a ship destruction.
Yeah. It's interesting. You're repurposing your metals.
Exactly.
But I really like it. Like there's so much content in the box. You're never really gonna have the same game because not all the same tiles are gonna be out every game. It's just there's so much in the box, and yeah, I love it.
And with what 4 different types of aliens and humans, so that's 5 different sorts of alien species if you count human as one alien species. You've got the area for the teal aliens and the pink aliens and the brown aliens, and the gold aliens can go anywhere, and the humans can go anywhere, but they have to wear suits everywhere. But sometimes you're trying to collect for certain types of aliens or another. Each of the different things that you build on your space station will give you various advantages, and it is a race to get the best level 1, level 2, level 3 of that color component, racing to try to with the other people at the table, because if you're the last person to get a level 3 teal component for your space station, you're going to take whatever's left over, maybe not what you wanted. And there's a limit to the number of aliens that are out. It's different every game. Everybody has their own powers that they are good at. And we also got the good chance at BGG Fall in November to play with Gabe, the designer, and we got to play some of the expansion modules that are being considered for release. And so I can tell you there is some super awesome goodness on the way. No matter which modules are chosen, there's probably a good 2, if not 3 expansions worth of content that are being considered.
Oh yeah.
If they don't come out with at least 1 or 2 expansions, I will be surprised.
Yep.
Super fun game. Yeah, when you played it in April, you said this is going to be your number 1 game of whatever month you play, and sure enough, that was my number 1 in June. So
I know things.
You do know things.
I love Duchess. Like I love games. Steph taught me on BGA. Good memories.
Good memories. Legend says I'm heading to the game store right now. If I see a game in Steph's top 5, I might buy it. Notice not Michael's top 5, Steph's top 5.
I love it. All right, so that was my number 13 and your number 12.
Number 12.
So that makes me on to my number 12.
Yes.
Which is actually a bit of a surprise. But
yeah, because
really.
It is a surprise and not a surprise because you wouldn't normally think of it as, oh, this is the height of strategic wargaming or anything like that. This is not a deep Euro game.
What?
What?
It is Green Team Wins from 25th Century Games.
Super fun game.
Came out this year, 2022. It was my number 9 in February. We played it at Tantrum Con. Had a great time.
Chad ran the game.
Yep, that was a lot of fun. We had like 18 people. It was like
we played.
So many people.
We played with Gnarly Carly. She was at the table. Who else was at the table? It was a comedian that was there.
Like all the people.
All the people. So it was like
Tantrum Con was at the table.
Yeah, everybody. It was like a who's who at Tantrum Con at that table.
Yeah, Grant. That was
right. Grant, I believe.
Yeah, he was there.
I believe that was it.
Anyway, so this was just our first experience with that. Since then, the game's been released. I played it a bunch. We played it on the stream. I've taught it to my family. Everybody has loved this game.
I played it at Thanksgiving with my family.
It's so fun. It's just
super accessible.
It's super accessible, easy rules. Everybody can understand it. I have had a blast with this, and I've played it like 15 to 20 times, I believe. And so it's gone up in my ratings like a lot, just because of how much fun it is, and like, oh yeah, let's play. Like I will always. I can't turn this game down. Like if somebody's like, let's play Green Team, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like it just makes sense. It's easy and just it's fun. You always have laughs.
We played this for we do an alphabet challenge at the start of every year.
Yeah.
You can find that. You can find it on BGG if you just search for Alphabet Challenge 2023.
Yep.
We played them all on January 1st, so we could be finished on January 1st.
Yeah.
So this was
crazy.
This was our G listing. And so we played it, the two of us and James and Susan.
Yep.
Susan and I had a perfect score through 13 rounds of play. We were right there. We both failed on round 14 and 15, but ended up with a tie because there is no tiebreaker. So there you have it. We still have not seen a perfect score of Green Team Wins, though it is highly possible. Anyway.
It's possible, but never gonna happen for me. I don't win.
You were on you were the outlier on that game.
Yeah, I'll never win Green Team Wins, and yet I still love it. So there you go.
Love it.
Super fun.
But that's the thing. You don't have to win a game to enjoy it. You just have to be playing the game to enjoy it. Fun. You appreciate it. So.
Yes.
My number 11. I'm surprised this did not make my top 10. But when you see my top 10, you will understand why this barely slipped to number 11. It's from Druid City Games, my number 1 game of April, Wonderland's War.
That's right.
So this game has character player powers. It has drafting as you're going around this table with these different cards, where you are selecting some sort of ability and some sort of soldiers that are going to be placed onto various regions of Wonderland. So it has sort of an area control mechanic with that. So if you enjoy drafting games and area control and different asymmetric character powers, then this is definitely going to be right up your alley. The thing that is really super cool about this is the basically your chip bag. You are going to be drawing chips out of a bag whenever you are battling for control of these Wonderland regions. And as you're drawing these out of your bag, you might have some madness happen, or you might have, which will cause some of your people to be killed out of your areas. But it's the bag mechanic has caused it so that people have started calling it battle quacks as a nod to Quacks of Quedlinburg.
It's very similar.
It is very similar to drawing the chips out of the bag, trying to get exactly the chip that you need, and trying to gain majorities in these areas before somebody says, okay, I'm out, I need to stop here, or I'm going to keep pushing my luck. Oh, that was the last guy in my region, and I'm out. So anyway, Time Roller says, I played this once, it was great, versus I played this once, it was great.
Yes. But I love this game. I think it's super great. I will always be the one to like push my luck. But the thing is, you have these decisions in the game to either advance further on the battle line, or you can end on one of the spaces that give you a free removal, like upgrade for your
Or yeah,
tokens.
it gives you a token upgrade.
Actually go for the victory.
I liked upgrades. I
my gosh.
mean,
Oh my god, so many good choices. Anyway, I love the game. I think it's great. It's a good choice.
solid number 11. Like I say, I'm surprised that it did not make my top 10, but something's got to be number 11. Um, and I fully expected this to be top 10
Yep.
especially with it being my number one of April, which was already a strong month to begin with.
That's right.
But man, there's some strong games coming up. So,
My number 11 from Lucky Duck Games.
Bree.
Hey, Bree. Is Once Upon a Line. This game is actually scheduled to hit Kickstarter in a few weeks. So January, I think 17th. So be sure to look for that because it really impressed me like big
It's
time.
super solid.
It is awesome.
It's unique.
Totally up my alley.
It's innovative.
Super cool. So this was my number 2 in December and is scheduled to be released in 2023. So hopefully that sticks to the plan. And it is a word game, I guess you could say. You are trying to figure out where these words are hidden in this scratch off. So you're scratching these words off and you're trying to like hedge your bets and you're using your tools to try and get information without spending too many resources because there is a time track that it's like the line of tragedy or something.
Line of tragedy.
Like yeah, you don't want to scratch things off that line because obviously bad things are gonna happen.
Right.
But it is story driven.
Where you're gonna lose some of your action tiles or your actions.
I know.
And that's
you don't
and
want that
and that causes you to scratch off more lines of tragedy or to not be able to reveal words as quickly. So basically you're taking those tiles and placing them on this crossword type scratch off grid. So if you enjoy word games, if you enjoy resource management,
puzzly type things.
Yeah, meaning the action tiles that you are using to find those words. If you like those push your luck sort of mechanics, and if you like campaign story driven games, you're gonna love Once Upon a Line.
Yeah, and it's just so different, and I'm very excited for the full game because the boards are drastically bigger, so it's only going to make it way more harder.
Way bigger.
It's going to be such a challenge, and I'm here for it.
I
want to play it so badly, so I'm very excited to see how the Kickstarter does and how the game is actually going to take off after that.
Right.
And so
we played the tutorial.
Yep.
And then we played it with you guys. With the tutorial, and there were two separate scratch offs, so we could actually play this with y'all, where we are basically just doing all of the scratching for you guys, and you guys seem to have a great time with it. Splitty said Luza played it as well, and I quit the stream when he wanted to go beyond that first tutorial board because
you want to play it.
You want to play yourself, right? I mean,
it's true.
It's fantastic. I cannot wait, Bree. Definitely check out Once Upon a Line from Lucky Duck Games.
Yep.
And Lucky Duck has had a really good year this year as well.
I think so.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
On to the top 10.
Top 10.
This is what everyone is here for.
They're here for the top 20.
Well, now with 120% more. My number 10 game we've already talked about a little bit. But it is The Dark Quarter from Van Ryder Games and Lucky Duck Games. It was my number 1 game of May, and we've already talked quite a bit about it. Bree had mentioned somebody was their cultural consultant. Let me see if I can get that name as...
Bree's like, 2023 is going to be even better.
You know what?
Of your 2023s on the list, so yeah.
Yes, we do.
2023, Once Upon a Line is 2023, so clearly it's going to be a fantastic year.
Omari Akil, who lives in New Orleans, is the cultural consultant. And Evan met with met with them down there and actually became immersed in that culture, visited all the locations so that he could come up with super accurate
Yeah.
descriptions of everything. So props to Evan.
See, our one play clearly left a mark on you too.
It really did.
It really left a mark for me too. As you can see, it made my list.
Well,
as
it had been.
It's just like.
So we had only had the one play.
Yes.
And it was in May.
Yes.
And I hadn't played before the stream.
Right.
And Evan taught it, so it wasn't me teaching it. So I went back and watched a piece of the video, and I'm like, oh yeah, where you're upgrading your abilities. Oh yeah, where you're going out and investigating. Oh yeah, and how it remembers all of the. And so I was getting back into it while I was going over this top 10 list. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely better than this. And it was like, yeah. And that's actually ultimately what pushed Wonderland's War down to number 11. Is Dark Quarter ended up taking the number 10 spot.
It's a great game.
Super excited.
We're all very excited.
Legends is ready to spend his money at the game store.
All right, let's go, Legends.
Let's
number
go.
10. Number 10. My number 10 is Aeon's End, Legacy of Gravehold.
From Indie Boards and Cards.
Yes.
2021.
But like we just said earlier when Michael had it on his list, if it's your first Aeon's End experience, I wouldn't recommend this one.
Don't let it be your first.
Recommend others just to get you into the system a little bit so you know what to expect-ish. I mean, so the first game is pretty rough. It's if you don't even like, we're pretty veterans at this point of Aeon's End,
and it was
rough.
So
like, how are we doing? What are we doing?
So
like,
there was a term that they said that where you're supposed to put a card underneath the bad guy, and we're like,
underneath meaning like it's active power, or like underneath as in
underneath
like
the board,
underneath, so it's like,
or below the board.
It's a little unclear.
We were confused. We didn't know.
We were confused.
It could have been either way. Ultimately, I can't remember how that turned out, but I mean, we did get through it.
Underneath the underneath
the
actual board.
Yes. Yeah, I don't consider it.
Because it's not in play.
It's not clear. It's not clear.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just the first game. I mean, now there's multiple games within this game because it's a legacy adventure. But I love Aeon's End. I want more Aeon's End content, so I'm very excited to finish.
Big box.
It's very big. Yes.
We want the big box. We want an empty big box.
Well, now we have two legacy.
Now we have two.
We'll combine them both.
So what we've done, our first Aeon's End legacy has become our Aeon's End repository box.
Yeah.
And now that we have Legacy of Gravehold, maybe that's good enough for a second storage solution. Maybe we should do that. We'll look into that.
I think so. I think that's what it's going to have to be.
Well, it's going to have to be.
But it's super solid. I love me some Aeon's End, so I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. My number 9 is from another one of my favorite board game publishers, Board and Dice. It was my number 1 game in September published in 2022. It's Tiletum. Oh, look, you see how it just grew like that? It almost hit small friend.
Whoa.
So Tiletum, another T game in the series. It's super fantastic.
Yeah.
If you like plopping down, houses all over Europe and getting all sorts of different bonus points and building cathedrals across Europe and whatnot, you are really going to enjoy Tiletum. I think that this is one of the strongest T games. And it rivals Teo for my favorite T game, I think.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
So, yeah.
I've demoed the heck out of this.
Yes, you have.
So this has left
because you demoed it at Gen Con and PAX, right?
Yep, this has left a huge mark
huge impression on you. So, spoiler alert.
I love it.
What I really like about this game is how everyone starts in Tiletum, but then the fair is going to be in 3 other cities. Those cities are going to change, and the bonus things that you are going to go after are always going to be different because it's going to be random. So, from what I've heard, there is also another variant out there where you start off your your players. Each player starts in a different city other than Tiletum, and I love it. I love the idea.
Yeah.
So, if you love the T series, you are, in my opinion, you will not be disappointed with Tiletum.
Yeah. No, it's super great. So maybe more on that later.
Legends asks, can I ask how many plays and how many unique games you played in 2022? We think we need 6 people in our team to match you. Yeah, unique.
I think I had 610 unique games, and I had 1,670 plays.
I had 1,048.
It went down way, way, way much.
So you had quite a few plays in New England and on BGA
with
that I don't have.
friends. Count random plays.
Right, you don't count random.
Otherwise, it'd be way higher.
Right, but I do have 1,048 plays. My app says new to me 564. However, that's new in the past 2 years. Occasionally there will be a game like Yahtzee or something. Like we reviewed
Yahtzee.
2 games of Yahtzee that had not been on my app. So I don't necessarily have 564 games new to me. I would estimate it's probably about 520 games that were actually new to me.
Yeah.
And 615 unique games for me. So, and my H index only 8. So not a lot of repeats.
Yep.
So unfortunately.
Okay. My number 9 is Viticulture World from
Stonemaier
Games. It was my number 1 in July, and it is from 2022.
Yep.
I love that they decided to make a cooperative version of Viticulture. I love, love, love Viticulture. I've loved it for a very long time. It's been on my shelf since the first Kickstarter. I've loved it ever since. So the fact that they decided to go ahead with a cooperative version with different scenarios to win and introduce new concepts, it's so interesting. And I was blown away with this. I really, really like it. I consider it its own thing.
Well, yeah, because it was not created by the same team who created Viticulture. True. It was created by a fan who, decided to make his own, cooperative version of this, who we actually bumped into randomly when we were at Universal. Somebody recognized Steph and said, "Hey, I know you from the online world," and that's how we ended up meeting Mihir, who happened the next year to publish Viticulture World.
Yeah.
So it was a
design, so that's cool.
Fortuitous friendship to make all of a sudden like that. It was like the middle of Universal Studios at Halloween night in the dark. Yeah. Recognized Steph. I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was crazy, but it was awesome. And we've got the chance to play with Mihir a bunch since then, and
he's a great guy.
Yeah. But this I got to play at Dice Tower with Caulifly and Defoob and Mihir, so that was a great experience. And then I went home and played with you, and you didn't love the tutorial.
I didn't love the tutorial.
We played on stream, and
enjoy
his whole attitude changed, which was great. And so I think Michael's now on board with Viticulture.
I am indeed. It barely missed my top 25.
Yeah.
Or top 22 rather. It might have made top 25. Hard to tell. But yeah, it is super solid. Highly recommend Viticulture World. Legends told the game store owner his brain is blown.
570 learned. That's a lot. That was a lot.
Guess who taught most of those games?
Dan.
No.
Michael.
Table flip.
All right, you're number 8.
My number 8 games. Super solid game from Capstone Games. My number 2 game of December. It is Rise. If you like tracks, you're going to love Rise. Now, when I say that there's just a bunch of tracks, it really doesn't get the entire scope of everything. You're going to have different cards and events that come up, and you want to try to, and you're going to have to pay coins in order to take advantage of more of those events and better card actions. If you play a later card, you're going to get every event to the left of that. If you just play the cheap one, you're only going to get your card. You're not going to get any events. And also, you're not going to get to activate any of your books. You're only going to get books if someone takes the same action as you do immediately after. And I think that that is sort of fun. The really cool thing about Rise, though, is that when you go up on a track, you're going to get some sort of bonus, which helps you go up on a track, which helps you sometimes get some sort of bonus, which helps you go up on a track. I love tracks. I love all of the different interactions, all the different combos. If you are going to AP the heck out of it, maybe it's not the game for you. Yes, you can AP this thing to death. I just recommend just rolling with it and going for the best thing that you can go for.
Yeah, my favorite part about Rise is the different like actions you can choose and how far deep you want to go to get those different events, which could be good, that could be bad. You don't know. And then so
that's all.
you know, but like
yes.
but then you like, well, then you have to judge, do I really want to give Michael this extra action, this extra bonus, or should I just go to the action before it and get these things that I don't really want, or do I just stay at the early and not get any events? So that's like my favorite part of the game.
That's my favorite part.
And it was my number 25 for those. We didn't.
Legends is looking Rise up. I'm twisting his arm.
Ah, great.
And I don't know how to arm twist.
It
Taking
was
Taekwondo.
25 of the year, so.
That is your number 25. Yeah. So spoiler, that's going to be the first game of your top 25 list. Absolutely. On your geek list.
Super good.
Yeah, Rise is, I love all of the different combos. There are two sides to each board. You can mix and match them, and I can totally see Capcom coming out with expansions for this that change these boards up. Some of these boards also have little counters that go on them that will also change up the tracks. There are shortcuts you can take on the tracks. Do you decide to rush the science track? Do you decide to rush the government track? These are sort of things that you're going to have to consider when you are taking. It's not just take A, get B, get C. It's also, do I take this shortcut on B that would give me the C track or the C board or the D board push? Lots of different combos that can happen. So it's love nice. It. Love Rise.
Yeah, me too. All right, my number 8 is Woodcraft from Delicious Games.
I have not played this.
It was my number 2 in November because I played at BGGCon, and I've played it twice now. It is from 2022. It's Vladimir Suchi game, and you can kind of tell if you know his designs, but his designs have all been a little bit different. But there's like a wheel, and they give you. As you take actions, you're moving that action up to the next space. So as actions get left behind, the bonuses you get for those actions increase, and it's done really elegantly as this wheel is spinning. And so you only get so many actions in the game. I think it's like 12 actions or 16 actions or something, and it's not very many. But the way that you can manage to get things done is the interesting part. And do you take this action now while it's good, or do you take this action that you want to do so that action will be better for you later? Yeah. But then it might not give you the bonuses later, so then it's like, okay, how do you manage everything? And I always love managing.
So is that worker placement, or is it just action selection?
It's action selection, but we're all pulling from the same actions. So as I take this action, it goes up here, making these actions a little bit better, and then maybe you still want to take the action and it goes up even further, and everything left behind gets even better bonuses. And so you're just trying to manage all of that, and you get player abilities, so you have different characters that you're drafting, and then those will give you different abilities, and then you have these contracts that you need to fulfill, so it's resource management. And yeah, there's just a lot of great choices, and this is actually a game that I chose for becoming mayor of Tennessee Game Days.
That's right.
So I'm very excited to play this one again, and I really, really like it.
Sounds great. So yeah, Joe says Woodcraft was so fun. Played it at BGG Con.
Hey, me too.
It's weird. In 2021, I don't I can't say this definitively, but it seemed like there were more games in 2021 that you had played that I had not played.
Okay.
On this list, there's only Revive and Woodcraft that I haven't played that you have played.
I mean, there's a whole bunch that I did play that just
I'm
didn't
talking about just on this
on
list.
this list. Yeah.
On this list, there are only 2 that I haven't played. Occasionally, there will be some on 1 month, like Space Station Phoenix, that you play in April that I don't
That's
get to play
right.
till June. In this case, there's only 2 of these that I have not played yet. Highly looking forward to both Revive and Woodcraft. So
I think you will like them. Yeah.
I think so. My number 7 is so those who know me know that I really respect newness and innovation in games, like Once Upon a Line. How things are like really innovative. I think that my number 7 title is probably one of the most innovative games. It does require an app, but don't let that take you away from going after CGE's Deal with the Devil. It was my number 2 game in November, published in 2022. There was a demo of this going on in April that I did not get a chance to look at. Just like I also didn't get to look at Starship Captains
Yeah.
until later. But you and I played this in November at BGG Con, and we played it with Candace um, and Matt, and
It was so fun.
they were fantastic to play this with. In Deal with the Devil, one of you is the devil. And that's great for me because I am always the traitor, so much so
that I picked him anyway.
that everyone automatically thought I was the devil right from the get-go. One of you is a cultist. And if I wasn't a devil, surely I was the cultist, right?
I mean, it makes sense.
And 2 of us were humans. So, Steph and I both ended up as humans. Neither of us as the devil. As the humans, we're just trying to build up our own little selves,
Right.
our own houses and businesses and everything in our own little towns. Um, and the cultist is trying to sell pieces of his or her soul to the devil and to get benefits for it. And the devil is trying to collect mortal souls, including that pesky little cultist soul. But whatever. I mean, it's just a hazard of doing, soul business, I guess.
I guess.
The innovative thing about this game is when you want to trade with someone, you basically say what you are looking for and what things you are willing to trade by putting them inside these 2 big hefty pieces of cardboard that will slide shut like this. And everything that you are offering is right here inside this little piece of double layer cardboard on top of double layer cardboard, which will then get passed from person to person. How is it passed? Well, you're going to use the app for that. You're going to scan your little barcode and it's going to say, pass this to the red player. And then pass this to the blue player. Pass this to the green player. And then you're going to evaluate, do you want to make this trade or not? And if someone's trying to sell their soul for some goods, obviously, if I'm immortal, I can't do anything like that. But maybe Satan is looking for a soul and he'll give you what you're looking for and a little bit more.
Oh my goodness.
And you have to really decide, do I want to give up part of my soul? Because that's just going to make the devil possibly win the game. So, initially I turned down the first offer, did not turn down the second offer near the end of the game. And then you're gonna have 2 of those chances to trade per round, and you're gonna have 4 or 5 rounds in the game. It is not a lot of rounds and not a lot of actions on which to score points. Ultimately, the points are it's super low scoring. I think it was 19 to 16 to 15 to 15. So there's not a lot of variation between scores. So 1 point really makes a difference. I think your main concern is that some buildings seem to be overpowered for you. Otherwise, this might have been higher on your list. the reason I rated it so high was because of that innovation. Even if some of those buildings might seem to be overpowered, I'm not going to give up on it yet. It's still good enough to hit my number 7.
Yep.
What do you think? Yep.
I think it's definitely an experience game, and I should definitely try it
Definitely.
to see if it's for you.
Yeah. The rule book is thick to get through. Highly recommend playing this with someone who has played before. But I think that the trading mechanic is super fun and it's unique. It is a unique game.
It's definitely a unique game. Yeah. My number 7 is surprisingly an older title from 2015.
What?
I know. It is Healthy Heart Hospital.
No, that's crazy. You don't play hospital games.
I don't.
You don't play games with zombies, spiders, and hospitals.
I know.
Top 10.
It was surprising.
Top 10.
It was surprising. From Victory Point Games, it was my number 2 in October.
That's amazing.
I don't know. There's just something really fun about pushing your luck to try and get those cubes to go the right way. So you're trying to there's like a bag of cubes, and you try to save all these patients, but they're gonna get worse and worse and worse. But you have to try and maintain the hospital, and hopefully it doesn't go under. People will die. Or R.I.P. Like you just wanna, it's fine, it's fine. But no, it's a push.
Yeah, you try not to kill too many patients.
Yeah, you're trying. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
But it. I don't love the look of the game. It's like so 70s, right? It's like I don't like the whole look. I wish they just re-themed the whole thing. But I really do enjoy the push your luck mechanic of, can we go another round? Am I gonna pull the wrong cube at the wrong time to make us pull more cubes? I don't know. There's just something really fun about this game, and it's a challenge.
Yep. If you like resource management, disaster mitigation,
yes,
asymmetric player powers, cube pulling from a bag.
Yeah.
Love cube pulling. If you love push your luck, Healthy Heart Hospital is right up your alley. This barely missed my list as well.
I'm surprised it wasn't on your list, honestly.
Well, it was in a really, really strong month. So I think it was number 4 in that particular month. So it barely missed this top 22 list.
It clearly left an impression on me.
It really did.
I really liked it.
So and it's definitely a keeper. I would not ever get rid of this.
Yeah,
so
it's good. It's
for sure. Healthy Heart Hospital from Victory Point Games.
Yep.
My number 6 game should come as no surprise, considering my number 1 game of last year was Nemesis. My number 6 game is Nemesis Lockdown from Awakened Realms. It was my number 2 game in March, which means the number 1 game from March better be fantastic, I would think. And for my number 2s of March and November to both make my top 10, my number 2 of December to make my top 10. I mean, those are some really fantastic months as well.
Yeah.
So Nemesis Lockdown, you are basically, it's the same as Nemesis, except instead of being on a ship, you're on this mining colony, and you're having to go up and down in this mining colony. And I've only played it one time. But the one time was super fun. Here's the thing though. Would I play this over Nemesis? And I'm not certain. I think that this is good to change things up. Much like some of the other expansions, the Carnomorphs expansion, the Void Seeders expansion will also go a long way to changing up the base Nemesis experience. So if you're looking for something a little bit different with Nemesis, by all means, I highly recommend Nemesis Lockdown because it is more of that. There are different characters with different character powers. So if you enjoy the different characters in Nemesis, you will also enjoy the different characters in Nemesis Lockdown. Now, I am still a little bit unclear as to which characters you can put in Nemesis and which Nemesis characters you can put in Lockdown. Because we were trying to learn this on the fly. I believe it was at Tennessee Game Days.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out all of this stuff out as we were learning, as we were setting everything up. so I'm interested in knowing how much you can interact the two different games. However, I do obviously recommend Nemesis Lockdown, especially if you've played the heck out of Nemesis and just want something a little bit different. Notable Joe says he liked Lockdown more than the first Nemesis. It's
So
got some interesting mechanics with the lights on and off.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I like the on and off light situation, but I do think that Nemesis in general is just easier for me to set up and play just because I know everything. Where there's a lot more management that has to be done in lockdown. So it's like I'm never gonna gravitate towards that unless everybody at the table's played it or has played Nemesis before.
right.
And I'm often teaching Nemesis, or we're often teaching Nemesis.
It's the new groups, yeah.
Yeah. So it's never gonna really hit the new group table, I don't think. But even still, I thought it was good. It missed my. I was number 23, so it was.
Oh, wow.
It was on my list, but just off it on this list.
The other one that was just off the list, but on your 25 was Challengers. I should mention.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Challengers, super.
I thought for sure it'd be
super
on
fun
your
game.
list, but
It was a good year.
yeah.
Yeah, Challengers super fun as well. Anyway, definitely worth checking out Nemesis Lockdown.
Yep. My number 6 is right here. Rear Window from Funko Games. It was my number 2 in August, and it's from this year, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I love this game so much.
It is unique.
It's super fun. If you're into the Mysterium type games, this is not one to miss. It is similar to those, however, there may be a traitor, there may not be a traitor. It's cooperative until it's not cooperative. Like, so.
There is not, so for those of you who are worried about that, there is literally a 4 out of 13 chance that you are going to have a murder in the building. So, meaning a traitor. So if you don't enjoy traitor games, you don't even have to play with a traitor, though it does add a little bit of suspicion if you do. Highly recommend.
Yeah, no, it's super fun because if there is a murder and the director is being all sorts of weird, then you're like have to figure out what's going on here. How can I make it work and figure out if there is that murder? If it's purely co-op, then it's a little bit easier just to get them on the same page, everybody on the same page. But it is pretty fun when there is a murder to figuring it out. I was really impressed by this. I definitely want to go watch the movie. So
Legends is all over this list saying, I like Challengers. I played Challengers at 4 and the crowd loved it. Yes. I mean, it works. It works at 2. It works at 4. It works at 8. I think, matter of fact, I think I prefer it at 4 and 5 and 6 than I do at 8 because at 8 you play everybody once. You know what I'm saying? You will play each of your 7 games. You're going to play each player once.
Right.
And your deck at your first game is your base deck. Your deck on your 8th and your 7th game completely different. Right. So if you're playing at 4 players, then you're playing each player twice or 3 times. And I think I prefer that over, if you're playing at 6 players, then you're playing some people twice. And I think I prefer playing multiple people multiple times. Anyway.
Michael is always the murderer.
I am always the murderer. Legends also says, oh no, Rear Window is in the store.
You better get it, Legends.
Yes.
Super good.
Odd Number is not as good. You are correct. However, I was super surprised at how well the bot works.
Yeah,
it works really well.
He beat me.
Yeah. He beat you.
So there's that. Not very good at that game.
But it doesn't stop you from wanting to try.
No, it's on my number 24.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Rear Window, also super unique.
That was number 6.
Yes. And that was your number 6. So
now you're number 5.
My number 5 was my number 1 game of January. And I had to go back and look at the videos and go, oh yeah, this is why I love this game. Anno 1800 from Cosmos. So in Anno 1800, you are starting off with your base little city or colony or whatever, and you are trying to build it up in order to produce more resources and be able to build more things and be able to explore more into different areas and have different lands that you can settle. and I really enjoyed the mechanic where whenever you use this building with one of your cubes or use this resource in order to build some other sort of resource, you have actually put the cube on it. And once that cube is there, you've actually got to spend a turn to pull all the cubes off. And just that constant back and forth for your worker allocation and then rest. It really makes things super fun. And then upgrading your workers to be from base workers to I can't remember all the terms, but to be craftspeople or to be builders, and it's just super fun with all of that. So yeah, um,
There's a lot of symbols.
there's a lot of symbols to have to get. Yeah,
you need this to this.
yeah, you need this in order to build this thing, and this in order to build this thing. And you're going to get bonuses if you have built so many of certain things.
You're gonna have to use other people's buildings.
Yes.
Just because you can't build it all, but you want to.
You can't build it all. There's not enough spaces on your colony to be able to build everything.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed all of those interacting mechanics, and like I say, watching through the video, it really helped solidify. Oh yeah, this is why I loved Anno 1800. So
Very great, yeah.
definitely a keeper, and definitely worth checking out if you. Again, the same sort of theme. If you like, civilization building, setting up your colony engine to get better and better, you're going to love Anno 1800.
Yeah.
So
it's great. Yep. It's fun.
You're number 5.
My number 5.
Oh, that was 2020, by the way.
Yeah, it's an older one.
Yeah.
Older. Well, it's
2 years
several years old at this point.
Time roll says 12th on my list.
Nice. My number 5 is Frosthaven.
Whoa, from Cephalofair.
It was my number 1 December. We talked about this just the other day. And it's from obviously this year.
Which is amazing considering
we just learned it
that
a week ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like the very end of the year.
Should have waited to play it this year.
And I said, you were going to be knocking games off your list by playing this at the very end of the year. She's like, oh, okay.
I wanted to play it. Now, if I had waited till this year to play it, it would have been, we probably would have got more plays in. Now, we only played it twice, so this has potential to go up.
It does.
I want to play it more. I really liked what I've played so far. I don't love my character. You don't love your character, so
don't love the character yet.
But hopefully we'll get a little more knowledgeable about what's going on in the world and figure out what to do next. I look forward to playing it further. So, it's like funny because like I've only played 2 games of Gloomhaven. I've only played 2 games of Frosthaven. Is that going to be the end of my Frosthaven journey? No. Hopefully
it is not. No, it will not be. I will not let it be.
Okay.
Because I played the heck out of Gloomhaven.
No, but you've been spoiled by the app.
So here's the big catch.
Yeah.
I have been spoiled by the app. And I need...
And I just want to play the game.
I need a Gloomhaven app. Or a Frosthaven app. Which, I hear the Frosthaven app is coming. The Gloomhaven app, you have to go to third-party sources in order to deal with that, or get the official app, which Sean and I have been playing the heck out of. Not the past couple weeks, but the past month or two, we have really been playing the heck out of the actual Gloomhaven app on PC. The game actually on PC. And that it makes setup so much easier. And there have been times that, it'd be 11:30 at night. You're like, hey, let's play Frosthaven. And I'm like, oh, I got to set it up. That's the only drawback. A lot of my Frosthaven rankings especially from my December ranking, was simply on what I am fairly sure it's going to turn out to be with all the various different upgrades and whatnot, where you're upgrading your outpost in order to have walls, or to upgrade your barracks, or to upgrade your alchemist so that you can do certain things. I can see where it's going, and with 135 scenarios, I am judging my ranking of Frosthaven based on what I know Gloomhaven is and where I see Frosthaven going. I could be totally wrong, but that's where,
And I don't have that background knowledge, so I
you
don't.
don't yet have it. You will.
I expect it will be growing on my list with more plays, but just have to do that.
Though I don't know. You've got 4 really strong contenders
I do.
right
So
ahead
I
of
guess
this.
we will see.
Well, I guess we will see.
I guess we will see. But Bree says we are working on both apps. So
Yes.
Lucky Duck is
Please.
gonna pull through with those cool apps, and we'll hopefully see those soon.
If their other app ventures have anything to show for it, I mean, Lucky Duck has experience doing those sort of apps before, so this is. But that said, this is going to be their biggest.
Oh yeah, it's pretty
their
big.
biggest endeavor, and I'm highly, highly, highly looking forward to both the iOS and the PC versions of Frosthaven, Jaws, Gloomhaven, all of that. Totally looking forward to experiencing those.
Are great.
Yes, and it's going to be for Android, but that's a Steph thing, not a me thing.
Hey, Alex.
So, Alex, hey, how you doing? So, yes,
you are number 4.
My number 4 is a game that is not yet released, but we played it in October, and it was my number 1 game of number 1 game of October from Stronghold Games. It is Terraforming Mars, the dice game. We played a prototype of this. Matter of fact, I think we have Bonacor's copy.
I think so.
I think we still have it. I think.
Yep.
And it's fantastic. I think I love Terraforming Mars. And I finally got to play all the expansions at Gathering, I think it was. Had a blast with it. I love Terraforming Mars, the card game, where it distills everything down to its base elements. And Terraforming Mars, the dice game, has all of those cards with all of those fantastic, tasty card interactions, but you also have all of the fantastic dice chucking. So your dice actually become your resources that you are going to use to build and grow your Terraforming Mars corporation. And I just love how all of this works. I don't think that this will fire Terraforming Mars. I don't think that this will fire Terraforming Mars, the card game.
It does.
For Steph.
Both of them.
For Steph. Yet you don't even have it on your list.
No, I like the game perfectly well, and I would rather play this dice game versus the other two.
Yes, but you also had an experience with your game group in New England. Played Terraforming Mars till the wheels fell off of it. True story or no?
I didn't. I didn't.
I'm not saying.
They did.
You didn't, but that's what burned you out on it is repeated plays. Even in the same house, they just played the heck out of it.
They did.
And I don't suffer from that burnout problem. So I love all 3. For me, it does not fire either one. I think they are different sorts of games for different sorts of play lengths and how deep you want to go with each one of them. If you want something lighter, to play the dice game, or even lighter, maybe the card game. If you want something super deep, Terraforming Mars, and even deeper, add the expansions. I love it all. Send me more Terraforming Mars. And that's my number 4 game.
Nice. My number 4 game is Wonderland's War from Druid City Games. It was my number 1 in April, and it's from.
And I expected it to be super high on your list, and ta-da, here it is.
Here we are. I love this game. I love it so much. Choices are awesome. The game isn't actually all that difficult. There's just a kind of many steps that you need to follow, but it's not that hard, and the symbology makes sense after you've played. But I would say it is a deeper game than, say, Quacks of Quinlanburg. It will be a longer experience the more people you play with. Also adds time. But the theme is awesome. The artwork is awesome. The quality is awesome. Just everything about this game is awesome. And I've been really enjoying it this year. And I look forward to keep playing. more and more of it.
Fantastic.
Maybe they'll add more characters or something. I don't know.
Oh, that would be good.
Maybe they'll just keep adding expansions and stuff. So hopefully, if
Though, I mean, a lot of the expansion, a lot of the characters they would add, they have chips in the game. So I don't know.
I understand, but I don't
I
know. We'll see what they come up with. I'm sure they'll come up with
We'll
something
see.
because it's a very popular game and a lot of people have been loving it this year, as they should. But I think it's fantastic if you like push your luck dice bag building. I mean, not dice, but bag building chip games. Totes fun.
Going back to some of the chat. Timer asked if I'm going to play Gloomhaven in VR. I didn't even know you could play it in VR.
Haha.
That seems sort of cool. Um, Alex is looking forward to Terraforming Mars and the expansion to Ares, but sold off standard Terraforming Mars with everything because he agrees with you. He thinks that the that Ares expedition and the potentially the dice game have fired off Terraforming Mars for him. Chicken Barf said the card game is too long for what it is and not as good as other games in the same category like San Juan or Race for the Galaxy. I am a big, huge fan of San Juan. I'll be honest, I don't care much for Race. I much prefer Roll for the Galaxy and or New Frontiers and or Jump Drive. But I'm a big Tom Lehman fan, just not a fan of Race for the Galaxy. But yeah, I do love San Juan and also love Ares Expedition. So, did the new Kickstarter have anything extra? I know they rebalanced the characters, says Dan.
For Wonderland's
I did not know that they rebalanced the
sure
characters.
about that. So haven't done much research into that Kickstarter.
Interesting.
All right, your number 3.
My number 3 game we've already talked about. No, it was my number 1 game from December. It's Frosthaven from South Lafair.
I wasn't sure if this would be higher, honestly.
Yeah, well, there are 2 super strong games that you figure Frosthaven, Gloomhaven's number 1 on BGG. So you figure Frosthaven is going to be similarly high. Again, my number 3 ranking of Frosthaven is basically on what I think this is going to turn out to be and not what I have actually played of it. I haven't played but one of the characters, and I've seen you play one character. So the verdict is out. This it's hard to say that this could go higher because this is sort of prejudged on what I think this will turn out to be. There is potential for it to go lower, though I don't think it will. I think it is fairly rated for where I have it. Highly looking forward to playing more Frosthaven. Just wish it wasn't such a bear to set up. But I mean, all good games with a huge batch of everything can be difficult to set up. So I shouldn't knock it too hard on that. It is a lot of things to manage, and I think that the app has just spoiled me quite a bit. But that doesn't take away from how fantastic the game is. Highly recommend Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and Frosthaven.
My number 3. Actually, for a long time, I thought this would actually be my number 1 for the year. But then some other games came into play. It is Next Station London.
You don't let me go to the chat, but sure. Keep going. Next Station London from Blue Orange.
From Blue Orange, it was my number 2 in May, and it came out this year, 2022. I first played it on BGA, so I was definitely spoiled by playing it on BGA because you just click a button and it does the lines, and
So you're spoiled by the app too.
I'm spoiled by the app for sure. I have played this. I think I've 42 times I've recorded in my phone.
Hey, Tech.
But then another 300 or 400 just playing on BGA. Just because games are 5 minutes. I mean, literally 5-minute games on BGA, and it's so much fun. It's a flip and write game, and you change your colored pencils. You're making these different colored routes, and you're trying to go to these different have these goals that you're trying to complete.
What kind of routes?
Subway routes.
Really? Tree routes?
Nope. So it's just so much fun. If you're looking to play a lighter game, this works. Now, when you play in person, it's going to be a little bit longer, just because it just will.
A lot longer.
Yeah,
because
It just will.
you turn the card,
And then
you
everybody
have to draw the line,
Yeah, and then you're trying to figure out your score for each round,
and the app is like that.
yep,
So you're spoiled by the app.
I am.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm not getting rid of my copy of the game.
Of course not.
And bring it
Because
wherever I can because I love
here's
it.
the thing: at any time, that app could just it could be gone.
It's not.
You gotta.
It's a game. It's actually a implemented game. So it's not.
It's
an app.
It's an app. It's an online app.
It's an online game.
An app is an application. It is a free app that you can play
On board
on a
game.
browser on Board Game Arena. It's still an app.
I love it
Anyway.
so much. I love this game, and yeah, I just hope everybody gets to try it out.
Legends needs next station London. Ouch, my arm is sore.
Yes, you need to get that.
Time Roller says jump drive on BGA lasts like 45 seconds. It's so fast.
It is very fast.
Um,
Next station, Everdell. That would be
nice.
cute.
Time Roller says you can get the new sheets for Wonderland's War from the new Kickstarter or print them off yourself.
Yep.
Oh, they only rebalance Mad Hatter and Jabberwocky. Alex asks, isn't Jump Drive getting an expansion? We played it a ton and would love to see that. Oh, hey, let me tell you. It's possible.
We played the prototype.
We played the prototype of the expansion.
It becomes a reality.
Matter of fact,
I don't know if it's going to, but
Jump Drive barely missed the list because I had a lot of good April games. It was my number 7 of April.
Oh.
But April was a super deep list, and 2022 is a super deep year. So it did not make my list, but I assume it is getting the expansion. I played Jump Drive for the first time. Then I played the expansion, bam, just like that.
Yeah, back to back.
Let me say, when we played Jump Drive, it went fast, where we're just piling on the victory point tokens. I think the expansion, it went super fast as well. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
did not make your list.
No, but that doesn't take away from how fantastic it is.
It's a great game.
I mean, I only got room for 22 spots.
I know it's not many.
It's not many.
We're on number 2 though.
We're on number 2, and these are some fantastic games. My number 2 game was not on your list only because you played it last year.
I played it last year.
Because it's a game from 2021. It was my number 1 game from March from Capstone Games. It's Ark Nova. Everyone loves this.
Fabulous.
The fabulous
Ark
Nova. Your number 3 game? 4 game? 5 game. Who's got 6? Who's got 7?
I think it was 5 last year.
Your number 5 game last year? Yeah. So like, I love the different action strengths. I love the 2 different tracks coming together. Even if it does make it a low scoring game, it doesn't bother me one bit because I love all of the different the drafting and the trying to build up all of the different cards that you have in Ark Nova, all the different aminals that you can play. It's so much fun.
It's a great game. It's great solo. It's great 2-player. It's great 3, 4, 4, whatever player.
Any player can.
I agree. A lot of people complain it's too long with more players, but it's not that bad.
No, it's not.
It's really not that bad. But I really like Ark Nova, and I will play this basically any chance that I can. So I'm glad it made your list. I'm glad it made it so high on your list.
Yes, it is a fantastic game.
Dan.
So Time Roller says I barely have time to play my games. Getting back to them is so hard. It is so hard to play some of these favorites like Ark Nova 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times, especially games that do take as long as Ark Nova. But it's always a fantastic gaming experience.
Yeah, so fun.
I can't say that I've had a bad experience playing Ark Nova. So,
yeah.
And this is actually one. There are a few games. Those of you who know me know I'm like, oh yeah, I've played that game this year. I'd rather play something that I haven't played this year. This is one that I would play multiple times in a year, and for me, that is super good. Steph can attest to that because if I can play any game multiple times in a year,
Well, that's one reason why
She's-
streaming has been great because we've been getting
Two
these
plays
boosts
two
to the
plays
channel.
is one more than one. So
Exactly.
so it's been good to play these games multiple times. Definitely love Ark Nova from Capstone.
Yep.
It's really good year from Capstone, I gotta say.
I mean, yeah, like all your games are Capstone.
Well, not all of them, but yeah, a lot of them.
Legend says I need to play my copy of Ark Nova, but I did play my friend's copy. Alex says Ark Nova is easily the #1 played game in my game group. And Tech says Ark Nova is the best deal I got for $10 Canadian.
For those of you who don't know, this calendar company, I don't know the name of the calendar store, but they also stock games. I know that in the U.S. in the malls there is a calendar store that also has games. I suspect it is something similar, but in Canada they have put $10 price tags on all of their copies of Ark Nova, and people all over Canada are snatching these up.
They're probably gone
now. No, I'm still seeing posts.
Oh my god.
On Facebook saying, "Look what I picked up."
Oh.
It's got a big red $10 price tag on it, and I assume it is also Calendar Club. Is what Jelfia says. Tech says Calendar Club. Yeah, that's
a great deal. By the way,
that's a great deal. If you see it at twice the price, pick it up.
Yeah, I mean for real. Pay full price, why not?
Absolutely. We've talked about number 2.
I know you spoiler.
Spoiler.
Whoa.
From one of our favorite companies,
Board and Dice. Tiletum. My #1 in August 2022.
Or Tiletum, or
it's not Tiletum.
Or any of the other things that people have called this game.
Tiletum. Tiletum. Rainer says it correctly. But yeah,
Tiletum?
I was totally impressed by this. The game itself looks really beige. It's not a great looking game. However, the cover is actually
Tiletum.
I don't know. This game is awesome. There is so many like puzzly things to work out because the way the board is set up at the beginning of the game, you have to like see the board and be like, I want that, and make your plan to go get these things before other people can do it. But you also have to plan for the dice drafting and the bonuses you can get over there. So you're getting these dice, you're getting resources, you have to manage all your actions and do it better than everybody else.
And that optimization is where the heart of the game is, I think.
Oh yeah,
being able to beat somebody to a city in order to plop that house down where there's one space for a house so that you can move on because the fair is going to be there. That is so important.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And it's actually fairly cutthroat. You want to be first in turn order if you can choose that. If you can get up the king track and be first in the order, it's highly important because you get first dibs at the dice, you get first dibs at the actions that come out with those dice. Like if there's only one gold die and you're like, I really need money, well, you better draft that die before the people get the chance to draft it. But if you're going fourth in a 4-player game, then you're gonna like get last choice and you're just like, oh my god, how do I get out of this mess?
And that's where you are looking at your options and going, okay, do I skip out of the second fair city and go on to the third fair city and completely abandon this part of the competition for all of this stuff? Just go for 3 and 4, where hopefully my bonuses are going to be a lot higher than what y'all are getting. That's what you got to ask yourself.
I know. It's so many good choices.
So many good choices.
It's definitely like I love Teotihuacan. Like that was my favorite
T game.
Now this puts it right in line with that.
It's really close for me.
Oh, I don't know what.
I don't know.
I might be Tiletum. I really love Tiletum.
Look at all these fantastic T games.
I know. They're all so good. And so this might just be my favorite one.
There you go.
I really, really love it.
So
I thought for sure it'd be #1.
Time Roller. We'll call it what he wants. You're not his mommy.
No. That's fair.
So Chicken Barf called it Tile Tummy.
Okay.
So whenever I create my top 10 list for each month and for this top 22 list for 2022, I make it a point to not look at your list before creating my list.
Right.
Because I don't want to be influenced by any of your choices. nor you for mine, because you don't look at my list until
Last possible second.
the last. Yeah, because I was crafting this afternoon, right?
To the very last minute.
To the very last minute. So, the number one game that we have
Is the same.
is the same, but not because we looked at each other's list. It's just because of how good it is. Do we have
So freaking good.
anybody with any idea what you
Everybody
think?
knows it. I'm
Everybody
sure.
should know. I know Heroic Logic said the same. What is it?
It is.
Who knows it? No, you spoilered.
I did.
Look what you did.
Because we're talking about it. It's Mosaic.
Man says Nemesis. It is not Nemesis.
Nemesis. We already talked about Nemesis.
That was last year. Yes, that was last year.
And this was number 3 for me last year. Come on.
Number 1 for me last year.
We even made Dan play this. He should know.
Yes.
Mosaic. Story of Civilization. It was my number 1 in November.
My number 1 in November.
And it came out in 2022.
And it's fantastic. The setup, I think it's simple and unique. I think that makes gameplay different a lot of times. All of the varied tech cards make the game so interesting. I think you and I have the same strategy with going for all of the achievement tiles and the Golden Age tiles. You and I both do the same thing with that, and we rush that, and it makes the game end prematurely. I think that there may be an expansion coming that is going to change warfare a little bit to make it more necessary. I don't know if it needs it, but I don't know that it doesn't. I'm interested to see what they come up with this, because this is not a dudes on a map civ game. This is a build up your civilization and put the cities on the map and get those bonuses for it's got some area control. Now, let's be fair. You are not an area control fan, but you love this.
Yeah.
It's
not about the area
It's
control.
not all about the area. It's some.
It's some, but it's more than that. It's about the technologies, the set collection of symbols. I loved all of the tag system that they have here. I love that. I love the different nations you could be. I love managing resources. I like all of the fast choices to make the game just fly through. Because you can never really do as much as you want to do, so you have to plan everything accordingly.
Yes.
And pick and choose what is more important to you at the time of your turn.
And there are multiple ways to victory. Now, when we played this game with Aldi, he did not build any cities and he went strong warfare and he got destroyed. So I thought for sure you can't have a winning strategy like that. And then James played with a heavy warfare strategy and did rather well.
He did, but I had to kind of...
You had to push him down.
And that hurt my game. So
it did, but you also hurt his game to where...
It was enough. He still won.
That's what I'm saying.
It hurt my game more. So I should have just let him run away with it.
But if he ran away with it, somebody needed to stop him.
Why did it have to be me? So there you go. That's
because I'm always the
That's why they need the expansion.
And that's why I'm interested in seeing what they come up with that, is that there are multiple ways of victory. And I didn't think it was possible until James did what he did. But I just love all the different actions. Now, this is the other cool thing. And this is also what I love about games like Advanced Civilization. The game is very deep, but it is easy to teach. It's like, this action does this. This action does this. And they're really simple concepts. And the actions you take are bite-sized actions. They're not, I am doing this major combo in one turn. No, it is, I'm going to get rocks. And that's all I'm doing. I'm going to get books. And that's all I'm doing.
Learn this technology.
And that's all I'm doing. You can't do everything all at once on a turn. Turns are very small, compact things. And that should totally help AP prone people to make a game go really quickly. Because by the time you know it, we've gone around the table and it's your turn again. I love that. I love that about this game. Is
It's
that
quick
there's not a lot of
moving.
downtime.
Yeah.
And
It's a big sprawling game. It looks intimidating, but it's
but it's really not.
it's really no harder than like I don't know, Civ New Dawn, which isn't that complicated, but it's or like it's like a 3.0 out of 5 on BGG or whatever. It's like
It's not.
it's not hard.
It's
It's
not
just like
hard.
big. It's just
And there's a lot of variability in those in how those cards come out, and I love that. I love asymmetric player civilization powers. Asymmetric player powers are fantastic, and Mosaic is full of them.
yeah, we both really love it.
To the point where this is another one of those games where we played it once at BGG, we streamed it on stream, and then the opportunity came up to play it again with James Azul, and I'm like, yes, put it on the table. But it's a big, sprawling game, and you've already played it this year. Yes, put it on the table. I don't care.
And I think we're teaching it again tomorrow. And then
We
we might teach it again next week.
We might.
So there's tons of opportunities to play this game because Michael's willing to play it more than once.
I am. This was another beige and brown game, right? Yes, yes, it was. But the colors do exist in the different regions. Still, I mean, yeah, and now we are double twisting Legends arms
I mean, as we do.
as we do. Left
Blame
arm
Steph.
and right arm.
Blame Steph alert. Buying rear window now.
It was the year of beige and brown for sure. So, to wrap up the top 22 Legends, are you listening? My number 22 game Pandemic Fall of Rome. 21 Fit to Print. 20 Terracotta Army. Number 19 Imperium Classics. 18 Corrosion. 17 Stroganov. 16 Aeon's End Legacy of Gravehold. 15 Foundations of Rome, 14 Starship Captains, 13 Seven Wonders Architects, 12 Space Station Phoenix, 11 Wonderland's War, 10 The Dark Quarter, 9 Tiletum, 8 Rise, 7 Deal with the Devil, 6 Nemesis Lockdown, 5 Anno 1800, 4 Terraforming Mars the Dice Game, 3 Frosthaven, 2 Ark Nova, 1 Mosaic.
Thanks for following, Chicken.
Yeah, Chicken.
My number 22, Fit to Print. Number 21, Akropolis. Number 20, Guild of Merchant Explorers. Number 19, Set a Watch, Swords of the Coin. Number 18, Revive. Number 17, Terracotta Army. Number 16, The Dakota. Number 15, Tidal Blades, Rise of the Unfolders. Number 14, Marvel Remix. Number 13, Space Station Phoenix. Number 12, Green Team Wins. Number 11, Once Upon a Line. Number 10, Aeon's End Legacy of Gravehold. Number 9, Viticulture World. Number 8, Woodcraft. Number 7, Healthy Heart Hospital. Number 6, Rear Window. Number 5, Frosthaven. Number 4, Wonderland's War. Number 3, Next Station London. Number 2, Tiletum. Number 1, Mosaic.
Woohoo!
We did it.
We did it. That is our top 22 of 2022. Or top 10 with 120% more.
Exactly.
Top 10.
It only took us over 2 hours. No problem.
That's okay. Because that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
So
we had a great year for 2022. So
yep.
I look forward to seeing what's in store for 2023.
Yep.
A lot of great titles.
And for those of you who don't know, we stream every Wednesday and Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Central. Unless we're away at a convention or the internet blows up. And we usually play at least 3 games every night with full teaches and playthroughs. So hey, join us some night on twitch.tv/BoardGamerSteph and join us in the fun.
Yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, like and follow our YouTube channel.
That's right.
And you can see all the awesome games we play.
Which we're over 750 some odd videos, which
a
is
lot.
Probably 700 games with some of the rules and playthroughs split apart. So that's a lot of games. More than 700 games on our channel.
Yeah, we like to have fun over here.
Absolutely. Along with Senor Azul.
Senor Azul is so happy to be over there.
Oh, yeah. He's sleeping. All right. we will be right back.
Yeah.